Okay, so Hector, over in Hong Kong. This is the portfolio. We won't click on this one because I don't want Twitch to freak out on me. Um, but we see a senior 3D artist in studio as well. I wonder how many of those are in the Discord that I don't know about. But let's go ahead and kind of. So it says 3D senior 3D artist. So the range of skill set could be varied or wide, right? So we've got some stylized stuff. I don't know how old this piece is here. Let's see. So it's 2 years ago. So we'll just say we saw the stylized thing. Gothic grounds. This looks like some more substance designer work. A texture entirely made procedurally in Substance Designer. Dude, that's intense. So there isn't any other images than this one, so we can just go off of this for a little bit. So this is quite interesting with the. Hey, Sizen, have a good one, man. This was quite interesting with the integration of the skulls. It's quite intriguing. But yeah, the overall, I would say the material feels quite flat. I think there's a missed opportunity with where the skulls are at that you could actually bring it up where the skull, like in an actual shape of the skull. Yeah, this material is pretty crazy. It's hard to read. There's a lot of detail and noisiness to it. And without more images, I can't really tell what's happening with the albedo. Right now, it feels like there's some tiles that are really dark and some that are really, really light. The dark ones are adding to the noise. So overall, it's very, very busy. This is also 4 years old, so we will continue on. We've got a fan art for this mech. It looks like fan art 3 years ago. This is also given 3 years ago. I kind of don't want to judge based off of this work. But yeah, I would say in general, the gut reaction. So materials are interesting. They're not pushed too far. There's some pretty uniform detail when it comes to like edge wear. I think where it's kind of faltering for me is the modeling, the amount of modeling work that went in. When you can like reverse engineer what you're seeing and go, oh, I think this is just a cylinder, but then like this edge is like or this is a cube and this edge is beveled to make this shape. And then they beveled these two edges to make that. And when you can break it down like that, I don't think it's going far enough. It's like even if it's a really simple shape like this, you should be able to model it in a way where it doesn't look like geometry. It looks like it was built that way, right? And let's see, there's some hard surface stuff here. So this is last year. Oh, I remember this. So this looks pretty good. There's a bit of a, what would you call it? A textile density difference, I feel, when you look at the knobs or these knobs and the size of the little details here and their resolution in comparison to other elements. Everything else feels pretty uniform, but these feel a little extra high in the resolution. This attention to detail on the metal with the scratches, the circular scratches, this is really nice. And I like the little extra added logo detail here. That's even a different material. It's really cool. Lens is nice. There's a bit of dusting happening on here, so that's quite intriguing. This cut here is really sharp, so like it aliases really roughly in your normal matte bake, as well as like the geometry just not holding up to. It's totally okay to make that thicker in order to get the look to come through. But yeah, let's see here. The scope itself is a weapon. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming this is the part you put. No, that's the part you don't put your eye to. So you put your eye to this, like near this. If you shoot, that may take your eye out. something to keep in mind. I think it goes this way. I think you would look down this side, but I could be wrong. It's kind of hard to read which side's the side you look down. No. But pretty cool asset. It's suffering from a few other elements of fidelity, where you could add some more detail here and here. The maybe a dirty pass, like there's the rubberized side would be the side. Yeah, that's what I'm assuming. But then it's like this is rounded towards your, but I guess that's how it works, right? I don't know. I'm not a weapons expert. Let me do this. I'm just gonna drag this over here. And there is DefCon in our server. He did an article on texturing hard surface, and his materials are crazy nice. I can see if I can find them real quick here. But yeah, his materials are pretty spot on. We have, I don't know if it's in here. Exclamation mark weapon? No. I need to add that command in here. It basically will take you to the Notion board for the Empire command, and then we can find DefCon through there. Portfolios. So if we're in the Empire command here, let's go to, so we've got the weapons library. There's DefCon. There's a huge library of all of the weapons if you want to go through those. But what I'm looking for is Portfolio Depot. Is DefCon in here? Yes. Nice. Okay. So when we look at these materials, there's quite a uniform level of fidelity, and there's also, I think it's powder coated for painting like weapon pieces, and when they wear down, they actually leave a little bit of an edge to them. So I'll link his profile in your chat, and you can take a look at that when you have time. Let's just continue onward here. So you've got more weapons that you were working on. I think this was 7 months ago. Yeah. And this is the only image. I think any portfolio piece that you can post more than just like the renders of, like these three could be 3 separate images. That way we can see like the really high res detail of it. Especially since you're paying for Pro, you can upload higher res than, like, this is 4K. Is that right? Hang on. Oh, there we go. Okay. So see, even here, like if this was 4K per image, that could be pretty nice. Get some nice close-ups of areas. This again, we're looking at fidelity as like the main culprit for like what's making your asset not get pushed as far as it could. Wow, these details are great. Reminds me of a Killzone. But yeah, pushing your geometry in like this area, if this is padded, you could take that and like increase the poly count quite a bit just to get that soft feel in the silhouette. And then executing on the materials to get it to look soft as well is also another part of it. But more breakdowns, showing wireframes, showing your flat texture maps and how that looks. Those are all pretty key to the fidelity there, and pushing your work front and center while also looking really good, and helping us understand how it was built. This one looked pretty sick. Let me see what we're looking at here. So this is a modular game environment asset. See, and again, I think it comes down to presentation. We've got the frame or your assets being cut at the top here. We've got the lights that are placed are visible. So it's almost like it's just a screenshot of the viewport. This is in Marmoset Toolbag, so you could get really nice renders out of this as well, right? And I don't actually understand how modular it is because you're not showing me breakdowns of how it's what the pieces are, right? So making sure to show that, as well as how you're approaching the shaders. Like if you're going modular, then what you're trying to do is save time as well as performance, right? You're trying to be as performant as possible, build as few pieces as possible while being able to reuse them in different configurations to create as much content as possible. With that, how are you expanding that outside of just the modular set? What are you doing in the shaders to make one wall piece that's the same mesh look slightly different from the other one that's the same asset, right? So really going deep and explaining, like, it can't just be modular. It has to be, why is it modular? Show me the benefits of why you think it's best to go modular with this, other than just the reusing of pieces. So yeah, again, it's like it would be nice to have a lot more images and breakdowns and shader networks and wireframes and all that stuff. Um, but yeah, let's keep going here. So now we got armor vest. So your work is kind of going in a bunch of different directions. You got like character, like what I would consider this type of equipment, like armor, weapons, armor. That's all like this, like a weapons artist, hard surface. Vehicles are like hard surface as well. Gear for characters. This is usually done on the character team. So this is more character artwork. Totally fine. It's just understanding where those rest in the categories. Oh, Polysocks actually has a question about the modularity. So, what do you mean by why? Isn't reusing pieces the point? I'm a little confused. So definitely modularity and reusing the pieces is the point. But if you give me a modular set and I use the set and it looks like a modular set, that's not modular, right? So I would like to see, or that's not using modularity well. Like when you have modular parts, here I would like to see the multiple pieces so I understand how it's put together. But I want to see, like, how are you thinking about modularity? It's because for me, it's not just the parts, it's how you use the shaders to create the intent of a big unique building, even though it's all using like 10 pieces, for example, or 5 pieces. Like, how do you make that big building look good? And yeah, it could be a combination of vertex painting and edge decals. Like, are these all uniquely baked? Is this pillar different from this one? It looks like it is, but I don't know how many. Is it full tall, like the whole length there, or is this pillar and this pillar the same but flipped, right? Yeah, seeing the parts on the grid could be nice as well, definitely. But yeah, are you using vertex painting to kind of break up the details? Are you using masks? Are you using edge decals so that you don't have to do unique bakes for everything? There's a lot of stuff I would like to see, and the main reason I'm highlighting these bigger things is because you're a senior. Like when I would look at a junior portfolio, and they're showing me modularity, I just want to see the modularity kit in use. And right now, we're not getting it in use either in here, other than like one wall, right? Lord, 50 months, dude. That is Lord. That's crazy. But yeah, hopefully it sounds like that was clear, Polysocks. um, so armor wise, this is pretty cool. Mm. Dying Light 2, just as like a FYI, Hector, is there some of their posts on ArtStation? Well, I would say most of their posts on ArtStation cover that stuff really well. Yeah, gradients are cool, man. You can do a lot with a little. So this armor looks pretty cool. The shoulder looks quite rigid. It would be interesting to see, like, is it is it meant to be going straight at like a 45 angle and that's that? Or is there more to it? Does it bend and like give and change its shape based on like where you're putting your arm, you know? But material breakup's pretty nice. These feel like they might be bending, but these are usually like replaceable Kevlar pads, right? That's my assumption, anyways. Some of the details that are a little strange for me are these like, so there's some blood on there. That's fine. The edge damage is showing the metal. That's cool as well. There are certain elements in here that feel like they don't need a normal map. Like the blood maybe doesn't need a normal, depending on how small it is. And then some of the scratches could really be toned down in the normal map. Just be relying on roughness. We're getting to the... Oh, man, I remember this. So this does make a lot more sense now that it says Cyber Mecha Box. I would love to see it in motion. Or see it in an arena getting ready to face another one of it with a different color. That way you understand the functionality and like how it moves. Even if it's still. You know, like, okay, that's the front. They're facing each other. It's gonna... They're moving in. But, yeah. This Cyber Coliseum, this is pretty sick. So this is last year. It's quite interesting. So you've got cards for the characters, and in a lot of scenarios, or in some scenarios it works really well, and in others it's very flat. So it's like really trying to figure out how you balance that that level of detail or that fidelity, right? It could be a combination of making sure that there's roughness variation in the primary elements of the characters. Right. So like, for example, if someone's got a leather jacket on, just giving it an average roughness for leather. Or someone's got like a knitted sweater on, that the roughness matches that, right? Because then you won't get this flat feeling where all of the sheen is kind of one value in the reflectivity. You can really see it here. The support beam here is quite thin, and the amount of geometry used in these is pretty small. Again, it's a single image. Hang on here. Yeah, again, it's a single image, and that's a bit. So to me, that is problematic. It just, we need to see more of like how this stuff is constructed. The amount of geometry you're using on this makes me think it's supposed to be mobile. It says Houdini here as well, so that's quite interesting. But it feels really cheap, like cost wise, to render this stuff. I think you should be able to double or triple this without issue in polycount, even on mobile. Like the tires, they need like a backside so they have a thicker edge to them. This corrugated metal is scaled strangely to the rest of the scene. The logics of the space and how it's held together isn't sound. Like we were saying earlier, the supports need to be thicker. I like the attention to detail on the fencing, really nice, and the attention on the neons and the holographic screens and whatnot. That's really good. Also, I would say the composition here is fine as well. I'm liking that. It's just the execution on the materials, the modeling, and I guess the representation of the characters themselves. It's okay that they're flat. They don't even have to face you on these ones, as long as the roughness can kind of help break up the sheen on the character. You're using Houdini for this as well, so technically you could take all of these cards for the characters, and every time one is spawned, you could have it point just a slightly different vector in the normal as well as the geometry itself. That way everything is just kind of random within an average direction. That would do a lot. That would do a lot for the quality of the characters. Because then you won't get the same sheen angle as well or highlight in the roughness or the specular. Yeah, let's see what else we got here real quick before we move on. So there's another mech. Modeling on this looks pretty nice. This is looking really good. Oh, is there animation to this as well? Yo. Oh man, this is some like Crisis inspired movements. Oh, this is really cool. Really nice. Oh, that's nice too. Very cool. What? Okay, there's some music in there. I don't know if it's copyright issues or whatnot. So, man, that's sick. This is definitely a step up from your previous stuff. Real-time game vehicle design. Did the entire 3D pipeline for this. Some more to come. Yeah, there's some nice fidelity work going on here. It is quite clean. The movement helps a bit with that difference. But I think about the colors of your materials and like if this is paint, if this is metal, is this like a dark metal? Metal albedos tend to be quite bright, so just keep that in mind. But really cool. Definitely a step up from your other work. So this one's 3 months ago. Yes. Yeah, dude, look at the amount of detail you're starting to put in here now is really good. Huge step up in your rendering fidelity. The seat could have more geo. Just why not? If you're modeling all of that, you could do it here too. Hi, King. What's up? Wait, am I a king? I'll take it. Dang, design-wise, this is really cool too. Oh, super cool. This is really nice. This one is also really, really good. The design is really really nice. Man, with it closed up like that, what I want to see is a pose where it's just like, it's like choose your character and it's just like posed to look cool and look at you. Because I want to see what this looks like. You could fog up the whole front thing and then just have the underlighting of a face and it would look like someone's inside and you're good. But rendering is definitely better in quality. Materials are much better as well. The attention to detail is better. The modeling is better. So this is a huge step forward in your quality. So really, really nice work. That's sick, man. It makes me think the thumbnail is not giving it justice. I would almost say if these are your mechs, maybe you should show the mech and pose in the square tile. And I would remove these last four because they're just not helping your portfolio. And the modular stuff, like you can take on that feedback from all the details I was talking about. But really nice. These last two, especially the most recent one. That's a spicy meatball. I like it. But all right, cool. We got to get to the next review. But thank you for submitting your portfolio. I'm gonna try and call the next person, and we'll see how that goes. Nice.